Paulo Freire. He was a prolific thinker, a philosopher, an educational reformist, a critical theorist, an edupedagogist, a humanist, and a leader in critical pedagogy. He always encouraged dialogue and a democratic approach to all school and work life. Freire conducted successful research in adult literacy training, which received nationwide attention, but soon after a government coup sent him into exile for 25 years. Freire's philosophy of education was not a simple method, but an organic political consciousness. He believed that social change, plus education, would lead to less oppression and less class struggle. Here are 4 key concepts from his Pedagogy of the Oppressed. How was his theory applied to curriculum implementation, change, or reform? Well, as you can see from these curricular planning documents here, critical thinking is stressed. And finally, eco-pedagogy is embedded inside the curricular planning. Freire states that if the structure does not permit dialogue, then the structure must be changed. The learning environment must provide a structure where students bring their knowledge and educators bring theirs. There's a combination of life experiences, reflective dialogue, and social action that can only happen when the two are working together.
Freire created adult learning environments to address the serious issue of the oppressors who attempted to control the thinking and actions of the oppressed. He wanted to create environments where the oppressed started to question their role in society and understand knowledge is power. Collaborative study and inquiry encourage reflective dialogue around social change. Students develop a critical consciousness that questions the status quo and works towards transforming the social structure. Teachers must ask themselves, for whom are they working? Education is a form of politics that serves someone's interest. This question is still relevant today as we asked ourselves during our first class, what is curriculum? Freire believed that schools should be used for liberation and that dialogue was a key component. Through dialogue, students developed critical consciousness and questioned the status quo. New knowledge is developed between the teacher and student. Life experiences are exchanged in dialogue where both the teacher and the student participate and learn from each other. Freire believed the teacher's role was to make critical literacy relevant to the lives of their students.
Freire was not without criticism, of course. Some of the main issues included sexism, unclear language and religious references, and finally an emphasis on class over race in some of the struggles in his ideas.
In ESL teaching, the Freirean approach is already common. In the EAP classroom, however, such an oral approach is not as practical. In an academic writing class, an example of how our curriculum could be adapted following the Freirean approach would be to discuss a social issue in groups to problem solve. An extension would be to apply it to writing independently, first as an artifact of their group discussion, and then furthered as a reflection of a similar social issue in their country and possible solutions. Although different from the Freirean approach used in standard ESL classrooms, as this is less discussion-based, it would allow for an internal conscientization process with students when personalizing issues and reflecting on their country and selves.
Teachers and students need to be curious about the subject they are studying. This curiosity creates the conditions for an inquiry that is developed with the teacher and the student. If I am the teacher, I need to be part of the learning and work alongside my staff as we unveil new knowledge. It is important that everyone has input into the discussion. This accumulation of knowledge and group dialogue will help to foster a collaborative and positive learning environment in the school.
In my environment, I hope to integrate Freire's ideas by having a number of different working groups from teacher to student, student to student, and student to teacher. I also want to incorporate creativity, critical thinking, and a love of all life in all our activities. Freire's vision of an educator is not that much different from a 21st century educator, with being a guide on the side, guiding students towards new knowledge and new learning. We like Freire's ideas about social class, but we think they should be extended further, outward from social class towards race, sexual orientation, and gender. Finally, we like how Freire continued to develop his theories throughout his life. Eco-pedagogy came near the end of his life and is an inspiration for us curriculum designers, educators, and academics. Thanks for listening.